Imagine tomorrow morning, every financial safety net disappears. The job, the wealth, your partner, suddenly gone. If you were completely isolated, could you survive? Do you actually have the passwords, account numbers, and legal access to keep a roof over your head on your own? Take a second and be completely honest. If you felt even a slight hesitation right there, or if the answer is just a flat no, you are definitely not alone. That hesitation points to a deeply ingrained, invisible dependency. We like to think that surviving a crisis is about having enough money in the bank, but income is useless if you are technically and legally locked out of the accounts that hold it. True survival requires data. For generations, society has handed women a very specific script to follow: get a solid education, land a respectable job, and build a family. But when it comes to the actual mechanics of money, managing investments, growing wealth, filing taxes, that job is almost always assigned to someone else: a father, a husband, an accountant. It happens innocently. You have a partner who handles the numbers, so you let them. But there is a massive difference between trusting your partner and choosing to remain completely blind to your own financial reality. This kind of outsourcing creates a catastrophic vulnerability. And the scariest part is that as long as the relationship is stable and functioning, that vulnerability remains entirely invisible. Take Lotta's story. She's a 58-year-old retired teacher who married at 24. Her husband worked as an accountant for a private firm. By all accounts, they had a completely normal, healthy marriage. Because he worked with numbers all day, her husband managed absolutely everything. For 35 years, he handled the bank accounts, the property papers, the life insurance, the investments. He was highly competent and deeply caring. Lotta never asked to see the statements or check the balances. There was simply no reason to. The bills were paid on time and the system worked perfectly. A household engine that runs entirely on love and delegation can look incredibly healthy on the surface, but underneath, it operates with a massive, critical, single point of failure. Then, without any warning, Lotta's husband suffered a fatal heart attack. Overnight, Lotta was plunged into a labyrinth of financial bureaucracy. The life she had built was locked away, entirely out of her reach. She didn't know which banks held their emergency funds. She didn't know where the investment portfolios were parked, or whose names were on the deeds. The insurance policies existed, but they were buried inside email accounts secured by unrecoverable passwords. For months, she wandered through this maze. She spent her days tracking down death certificates, sitting in bank lobbies, and trying to decode legal processes in a language she had never been taught to speak. Here is the paradox of Lotta's situation. There is no villain in this story. Her husband didn't hide the money maliciously, and Lotta wasn't careless. Both of them simply played the roles society handed them. But that traditional model of delegating the math to one person is broken by design. The sudden departure of one partner practically guarantees that the surviving partner will be left in total financial darkness. Knowing your numbers is not a morbid disaster plan. Asking to see the accounts doesn't mean you lack trust in your marriage. When a woman holds her own financial data, she stops operating on the assumption of support and starts building the certainty of her own runway. This visibility changes the stakes of every choice, replacing a vague sense of security with the hard clarity of what she can actually afford. Financial information is the ultimate source of daily power. Living without that data forces you into a state of invisible dependency, regardless of how comfortable things might look from the outside. Breaking this cycle of dependency requires moving from a delegated system to a dual awareness system, and you can start that transition today with a simple 3-step private audit. Step 1. The private audit. Map out every household asset you can name: bank accounts, stock portfolios, property deeds, and insurance. Step 2. Identify the void. Pinpoint exactly what is missing. Where are the physical documents? Find the blanks. Step 3 is the conversation. Approach your partner or your parents, not with an accusation, but with a simple request. Tell them you want a better understanding of the household finances, and work together to merge that absolute trust with hard data. Completing this audit secures the infrastructure of your independence. It transforms a scattered list of passwords into the foundation of your personal freedom, the only ground from which you can genuinely say, I can stand on my own.